Hello, everybody. Welcome along to Sportsbet TV. This is Paul Alster here with you once again, and of course, looking forward to some great weekend action. And I'm focusing on the big meeting itself at Cheltenham. So you'll be able to watch most of these races, I think, on ITV. But I'm still away from home and on my travels, but I have set some time aside to have a good look at the Cheltenham card, and it really is a very good card indeed. There are 3 selections, as there were last week. If you're joining us for the first time, please press the subscribe button just below this screen, and then you'll be kept in touch with all of my bulletins as we go along. Well, this is a service where I look at big odds horses, and because of that, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but overall we show a good profit. Last weekend was a quiet weekend. There were 3 selections. Disappointing run from Espinito Bello over in Ireland. All Right Sunshine ran all right for a long way in the November handicap before getting a bit tired, and he faded. There was a good effort, though, from Pearls Galore in America. She finished beaten only 3 lengths in the Breeders' Cup Mile, but that was only good enough for 6th. I think she was just didn't pick up as I expected, and I think that was a sign of a long, hard season just maybe taking its toll, but I thought she ran very well. But of course, it wasn't a profit last week, unlike the previous 3 weeks that have all shown very good gains. Now, if you're interested in shorter odds, then I offer here at Sportsbet, and I'm also over on the freebets.com channel at YouTube. So remember to check that out. Last weekend, 2 from 2 strikes, jobs are good. So on to this weekend. And as I say, I'm looking at Cheltenham, and this bulletin recorded much earlier than usual for technical reasons. So it's going to be interesting to see how my impressions of the form tally once all the newspapers and other tipsters and the bookies get their odds together and really start getting their teeth in. So this is being recorded Thursday afternoon instead of Friday lunchtime as usual. Now, my first selection that I'm focusing on is in the big race at Cheltenham on Saturday, the Paddy Power Gold Cup. It's always a cracking handicap chase. And this year, there are 20 runners set to go to post over 2.5 miles. Forecast ground as of Thursday afternoon is good to soft. And there are plenty with pretty obvious claims, including the likes of Protectorat, who was a Grade 1 novice chase winner last season. And Lalor, who, of course, has changed stables, is now with the champion Paul Nicholls. And although he pulled up on his previous 2 starts for previous connections, it is interesting that he's with the champion now, and he could be a force to reckon with. And I'd be surprised if bookmakers take too many chances with him. Now, Sam Thomas, having a good season, has a horse called Al Dancer, who won first time out last term and is pretty classy. While a horse I very nearly tipped here, got to be honest, Sue Smith's horse, Midnight Shadow, horse I like very much. He goes well at the track. He was second over the course and distance to Chatham Street Lad in a red-hot handicap last December. So I think he is a very interesting contender, and he ran well on his reappearance at Wetherby recently. But after giving it much thought, I decided to put one up here at a proper price. And this one is Spirit of the Games, trained by Dan Skelton and the mount of his sister-in-law, Bridget Andrews, who is an excellent lady jockey, one of many very good lady riders we have these days. This horse doesn't have a very good win rate, I have to admit. He's won just 4 of his 26, but he has contested a lot of very, very hot races, and he's done most of his winning at between 2.5 and 3 miles. His last win actually came in a listed chase over 2.5 miles at Chepstow in October of 2018, so just over 3 years ago. But as I said, he's run a host of good races since, and they include finishing 3rd in the 2019 Cheltenham Festival in the Grade 3 handicap chase. He was also 2nd in the Caspian Caviar Gold Cup of 2019 and 2nd again in that race last year over this course and distance. And that was off 146. He went on to finish 2nd to Sepage in January over the course and distance, off 149, beaten just half a length. He was 6th at the Cheltenham Festival in March, running perfectly respectably. And then he finished 8th at the Cheltenham Festival, I should say. In the Pertemps Handicap Hurdle, they switched him to the smaller obstacles. Still ran very well. He loves this track. And he ended last term finishing third at the Aintree Festival. And that was in a grade 3 handicap chase over 3 miles 1, which is probably just a little further than is ideal. Now, very interestingly for me, he's had a wind surgery, and that was in September. And he's already had a run since then, which I suspect was just to test and see just how he handled things under pressure. He was 4th of 10 at Newbury in a 3-mile handicap hurdle, and he didn't run at all badly and would probably have been better for that reappearance effort. So I'm thinking that off a mark of 144, a horse who's gone very close over course and distance of £5 higher in the not too distant past, I think he's got a proper chance. And at this very early stage, there are a few firms betting, and amongst them, the best odds are 25 to 1 each way with Bet365. If you like the places to be a little bit better, there are 6 places being offered by William Hill who are 20 to 1. So shop around, but 25 to 1, I think, each way. Spirit of the Games is a very sporting bet at Cheltenham in the Paddy Power Gold Cup. Interesting to see just what price he goes off. This recording being done about 48 hours before the race itself. Now, also at Cheltenham, the 250 race is our second selection. And this is a 3-mile listed handicap hurdle. There are 11 runners. And once again, the Skeldons have a strong hand with Prashema, who ran so well in the Grade 2 West Yorkshire hurdle a few weeks ago behind Indefatigable. This is what it is. It's a dropping class. So if he's able to reproduce that good run on his first start over 3 miles, then he could win. But this, I think, a stiffer 3 miles. And I wouldn't want to be playing too short, I don't think, on Prashema. Now, the most fascinating runner in the race for me is the Philip Hobbs trained Sporting John, who's owned by, of course, a superb legendary gambler, J.P. McManus. And this horse has won a Grade 1 novice chase in his time, last season actually, and he's potentially well in, despite having top weight of 11 stone 12. He's reappearing here. He's dangerous. And if there is any proper market support, then Sporting John, who's got a lot of class, could prove to be a tough nut to crack. But my choice is a horse called Ballymillsy, who is trained by Nigel Twiston-Davies and is ridden by his son, Sam, one of the jockeys with the most unfortunate initials in British horse racing. Anyway, Ballymillsy, a 5-year-old, is still pretty raw, fairly green. I think he's a horse who is open to a lot of improvement. He won at Warwick over 3¼ miles at February in heavy ground earlier in the year, and then was second back there off a £6 higher mark the time after. He then was running well, had every chance at Worcester in April. When he came out of the race, he fell, I think, there behind Dragon Bones, who reopposes here. I think he'll get the better of that Dragon Bones. Now, his reappearance was in October. He ran lazily, and he appeared to have a fight on his hands as he went to the second last at Newton Abbot, but he's a big galumphing sort of a horse, really raw and lengthy. I think he's going to be a good horse, you know. And once he was shaken up, it was noticeable how he eventually put his head down and pulled away from a decent sort called Blackjack Kentucky, trained by Paul Nicholls, who's a good yardstick. In the end, he's won by nearly 8 lengths. And the further they went, the better. And that's why I think this stiff trip is going to help him. The stiff 3 miles coming up that hill. Sam might have to get quite tough with him, but I'm expecting him to respond because the horse seems genuine. He's just a little bit green around the gills. Anyway, he's up £8 for that win. He's young and progressive, aren't we all? And 5 to 1 is the guide price as of Thursday afternoon. So each way, a definite option if you want to get your money back. I always like to bet to get my money back if they place. So Ballymillsy in the second race, and in my second choice race, the Cheltenham 250. And then my final choice is actually earlier on the card at Cheltenham, and I was actually going to go with something else, but then I had a rethink about this race. And the race is the 105. It is a 3-mile, 1 furlong amateur riders, handicap chase, 16 runners, good to soft ground. There might be a few thrills and spills here, and there are loads of them with chances. Jockeyship, I think you'd have to say, is going to play a major part here. So the better jockeys are likely to come to the fore. The horse that I'm interested in here is actually declared to run on Friday in the cross-country chase. Now, I'm really hoping he doesn't run there, even though he's got a low weight in the cross-country chase. By the time you see this, he may have already won that. I don't know. But I'm hoping he doesn't run, and they choose to go with the race on Saturday instead. So fingers crossed that's the case. And the horse is called Plan of Attack. And he's trained by Henry de Bromhead and is the mount of another very good lady jocker, Gina Andrews this time. Gina Andrews is on board. Now, this horse is an 8-year-old gelding. He's from Ireland, of course, with Henry de Bromhead training. And we all remember how Henry just stormed Cheltenham in March along with Rachel Blackmore. So he's got a great record at the track of late. Now, this horse has run very well in a lot of decent staying handicap chases on both sides of the Irish Sea. And he's actually run twice at this track. And Cheltenham's a course that you either like or you don't. Most horses that don't act on it really do run quite poorly. But he's had 2 runs and run well both times. The first was in the Kim Muir of 2020 at the Cheltenham Festival, where he finished an excellent 4th of 23. And then he was running in the same race last year, and he was on the heels of the leaders, about 2 lengths off the pace at the 3rd from home, the one before they turned into the home straight, when he just met it wrong and he and Rachel Blackmore crashed to the ground. I think he would probably have gone fairly close in the race won by Mount Ida had he stood up. Now, he hasn't run since finishing in the mid-division of the Galway Blazers handicap chase at the Galway Festival in July, but he's a horse who's gone well fresh in the past, which is always a good sign, including when winning an Aintree handicap chase in October of 2019, first time out as well. So I think Plan of Attack has got a really big chance with Gina Andrews on board. 10-1 each way are the odds on offer by the only firm pricing up very early Thursday afternoon. And guess who that is? Yes, once again, it's William Hill who'll go up early for 5 places. So I hope that he does bypass the Friday race and they choose to run instead on Saturday. And if he does, he'll be running for me, and that is Plan of Attack. Now, he is my 3rd and final selection. So let's hope he gets in, he goes for the race, and he runs well along with the other 2. And that's it really for this weekend's bulletin. I'll be back at home with a full bulletin and 4 selections next weekend. Remember, for shorter odds, go to freebets.com. But for now, from me, Paul Alster at Sportsbet, thanks very much for joining me. And I look forward to you joining me, not the same time next week, but it'll be out on Friday afternoon. Bye-bye for now.